Nevada's unemployment rate is slowly improving, but one group thinks there's still room for more improvement.
Also, earthquakes are shaking up Southern California. Could a bigger one be on the way?
And General Motors is in the hot seat. GM recalled 2.6 million vehicles after discovering problems with the ignition. Studio G Live at Noon starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having us in. I'm Ron Paul Gavino.
And I'm Monica Cran.
Nevada's unemployment rate dropped to 8.6% in February. That's 0.3% below what it was back in January.
Although this is a good sign for many, teenagers in the Las Vegas Valley don't agree. Reporter Fabiola Marzano has our top story.
Andrea is a 16-year-old who's trying to support her family, but she's battling with people twice her age to get a minimum wage job.
My brother, he's working right now, but he's going to be leaving soon, and I don't want to leave everything to my parents. I don't want everything to just fall on them.
Andrea falls into the 17% of teenagers who are unemployed in Nevada.
It's very difficult.
But May Worthy from the Nevada of Employment, Training, and Rehabilitation says companies are choosy on who they hire.
Most companies, of course, they're looking to hire the best candidate possible. And if that experience is what they're particularly looking for, then yes, it may make it more difficult for a younger person who don't have that experience.
Myra Jurado is concerned whether her daughter will ever have an opportunity.
At every job interview, they ask my daughter if she has experience. But how is she going to gain experience if they don't give her the opportunity to start somewhere?
But starting somewhere starts by knowing how to sell yourself to companies.
Make sure that when you go on interviews that you are dressed to impress and be able to really sell yourself on why an employer should hire you over the competition.
She knows her good grades at Southwest Career Technical Academy are not helping her get the job she wants, but with the support of her family, Andrea says she's not giving up.
It's my main goal to be able to save up and help my family and get a job.
So before applying for the job, turn in a resume to prove companies you have what it takes. Here you go. For Studio G, I'm Fabiola Marzano.
Thank you, Fabiola, for the information. If you want to know more about employment in Nevada, visit nevada.jobconnect.com.
The Clark County School District confirmed one active case of tuberculosis at Liberty High School. Letters addressed to parents were sent home with students notifying them of the current situation. The law requires all individuals identified as contacts to undergo tuberculosis tests. This includes students and staff from bus routes, classrooms, and work. Additional letters will be sent out to those who need to be tested. There will be no charge to the students or the staff for the test.
Education isn't getting the funding it needs, and parents aren't happy with that. Thousands of parents, teachers, and students rallied together in Oklahoma on Monday to protest. They went to the state capitol to ask for an increase in funding for education. The crowd of supporters were in favor of the House Bill 2642. The bill guarantees a spending increase of $570 million toward education over the next 10 years.
Where are you going to get the $500 million over the 4 or 5 years? And that's the fly in the ointment.
As teachers made their way into the Capitol to find their legislator, one teacher from Sapulpa shared her anger about Oklahoma ranking 49th in spending per pupil.
Enough is enough. 49th is not acceptable. Time has come to put education first, not last.
The fight continues on reforming Oklahoma's education funding for students.
After the break, back-to-back earthquakes. California residents fear that the worst is yet to come. Reporter Daphne Bretto tells us more.
One earthquake after another. all in just 10 days.
I ran out of my car and ran right into the arms of this man. And we were in the middle of the street just like hugging, and we were so scared. And then it stopped, and then he invited me into his house, and then there was an aftershock, and then we were hugging again with his wife.
Southern California has been rattled by 2 strong frequent earthquakes, some believing this to be an ominous sign of something bigger to come.
Nervous, not prepared.
I'd say we're sort of ready as one could be.
California gets more earthquakes than any other region in the United States.
When we have an earthquake, a big earthquake on the Puente Hills, the strong shaking is going to be downtown Los Angeles, Hollywood, East LA, and we're going to see a much, much higher level of damage.
Though it's unlikely that a bigger quake will hit the state of California, it is possible, and emergency teams are ready.
A disaster like that is going to overwhelm any public service agency. And so once again, we saw in Northridge that we need to have those channels of communication open, that we need to be able to respond very quickly, not with just internally and among ourselves, but with LA City and some of the nearby agencies. It was probably one of the big focuses that came out of Northridge.
From Studio G, I'm Daphne Barreto.
Although California residents have experienced many earthquakes in the past, it's important to always prepare for a big one. Make sure you hold drills with your families. Drop, cover, and hold on. Still ahead on Studio G. General Motors is in the hot seat. Problems with the ignition system has been linked to third-party crashes and 13 deaths over the past decade.
Plus, a horrible blizzard left multiple trucks stranded on ice.
And looking ahead at our 7-day forecast, it looks like the wind is here to stay. You're watching Studio G, live at noon.
I'm Toby.
This is your boy Miles Lowe.
Crystal McGuerza.
King Louie here. This is Don Conquer.
3 Peas in a Pod.
The Miles Lowe Midweek Show.
The King Louie Show. The Revolution.
Combox Radio with Crystal May.
KUMV. The Rebel HD2.
Come listen to us at therebelhd2.com.
It's indie rock, pop rock, and underground hip hop, R&B mix, electronic and dance music.
Click on the listen link and there we are.
I'm Christian FGY.
Kaylin Height. And I'm Jay Luna. And we're Ill Vibe Theory. It's an underground hip-hop show here at UNLV, where we focus on making the hip-hop culture in the Las Vegas Valley more prevalent and just making people more aware of up-and-coming underground hip-hop artists.
Basically, we play what we like. It's really as simple as that. Most of the stuff we like are our hits, so both.
On KUNV HD2, Las Vegas.
Our third pod is Kat Gonzalez.
We mainly talk about pop culture and whatever movie or TV show that we're interested in right now.
Pretty much everything about media, current events, current everything regarding pop culture and stuff.
I want them to laugh at us because we're so awkward most of the time. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Toby.
And we're 3 Peas in a Pod. Come listen to us at therebelhd2.com.
I want this place to be a place that they feel safe and secure, a place where they get inspired. So many times we kind of get complacent in our everyday life, transforming lives in the community from the inside out. I've been in fitness my whole life, but now tying that in now in my spiritual walk, it's been just amazing. Some people may want to run a marathon. Some may want to just get off their asthma inhaler. Exercising and moving our bodies, I think it's, you know, we say if you don't use it, you lose it.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Clearly, the wind isn't going anywhere.
You know, it's funny because we just talked about it last week about how intense it is and stuff. It blew my glasses off. I don't know where they are. But I don't know. I still enjoy it. I still have fun with it. I still like to think that summer's around the corner.
It's just getting faster, though.
It's, well, I mean, it makes it more fun to ride the board and stuff like that.
I mean, I fell yesterday, so...
I mean, it's part of life. But, Troy, how are we going to be looking for the weekend?
Yes, Ron Paul, the wind is looking pretty crazy right now. Looking at a header... welcome Studio G. I'm Troy Fosgate. I'm here to bring you today's weather. Today, we're looking at 55 degrees.
partly cloudy. Expect showers in different parts of the city. Winds looking out west at 13 miles per hour and up wind gusts all the way to 30 miles per hour later today. Expect today's high is going to be 55 degrees with tonight's low being at 48. The sun will set at 7:04 p.m. It should be a beautiful sunset. Again, beware, it will be raining in certain parts of the city. So it's just up to you guys if you want to have fun, play some football, whatnot. It should be fun though. You just got to be aware. And today's current weather, we are looking at 56 degrees today at San Francisco. Pretty jealous right now. Some guy won a $400 million Powerball jackpot over there. Really jealous. And we are looking at 46 degrees at Salt Lake City, Utah. It is really cloudy. Expect clouds everywhere. It is not looking pretty good right now. It's just clouds everywhere from the west side of the city going straight up. Our satellite radar today, we are looking at rain coming down from Southern California, Santa Ana winds picking up from Southern California, traveling up to Las Vegas, all the way up to the Colorado Rockies. And there's going to be rain heading towards Chicago, Illinois. And the White Sox and Twins are playing. Baseball season started 2 days from now. And expect rain delays from Chicago. Expect rain delays in different parts of the city. The rain is not looking good right now as well. For today's satellite radar, we are looking at rain, again, from Southern California to Chicago. And then some snow coming towards Montana, all the way to the Dakotas and the Midwest. The blizzard is looking pretty bad out there right now. And we have more coming in from New England, from the clouds, from there. And for tomorrow's forecast, we're looking at 64 in Los Angeles, California, 84 degrees in beautiful South Beach. For a 7-day forecast, we are looking at 66 degrees today on Thursday. For Friday, all the way to Wednesday from 67, climbing all the way up to 84 degrees. We'll send it right back to the desk to Ron Paul.
Thank you very much, Troy. A blizzard ripped through the Midwest this past week, leaving multiple trucks stranded on ice. Brett Lobajeski and his brother were driving during icy conditions in the northwestern Wisconsin when the ice suddenly broke apart.
One keg when normally it takes about 5.
I figured he just had a tire sunk in. I was going to pull him out, and then I saw how bad the ice was out there, and I turned around to come back, and my tire went in.
The weather in the Midwest has been colder than usual this time of year, and situations like this aren't uncommon.
Stay off the ice. What was once decent ice this year is gone away very quickly, and it's just asking for trouble.
Snowstorms are common in the eastern part of the United States, but they have been worse in previous years. These storms are expected to continue into the spring season.
General Motors is in trouble, and it's affecting the community and the city of Detroit.
Deeply sorry.
General Motors CEO Mary Barra apologized on Capitol Hill yesterday.
Whatever mistakes were made in the past, we will not shirk from our responsibilities now or in the future.
Barra has been the GM CEO for less than 3 months and is now in the hot seat after 2.6 million GM vehicles have been recalled due to problems with the ignition system. These problems were linked to 30 crashes and 13 deaths over the past decade. Families spoke on an emotional day on Capitol Hill, believing that loved ones lost their lives and were severely injured due to GM.
We are the people left behind when a loved one got into what was supposed to be a safe car, a GM car. A car that GM knew for years was dangerous and defective.
Despite recalls, GM is reporting a sales bump for March. Automakers say GM sold more than 250,000 cars and trucks last month, which is up 4% from the previous year and is 15% better than February sales. General Motors plans to take a $750 million charge against earnings to cover the cost of repairs. Barra has made an internal investigation but has not met with the engineering team responsible for the ignition switch. However, they were being interviewed as part of an in-house GM investigation.
At times they didn't share information just by course of process, or they didn't recognize that the information would be valuable to another area of the company.
GM really wants to put the right foot forward. They need to accept total responsibility, whether it was old GM, new GM, it's still GM on the building downtown Detroit.
GM will continue to get taunted on what went wrong and why. From Studio G, I'm Trinae Williams.
General Motors is still under investigation, and families are still waiting to find out answers. Now, switching gears to a much lighter story.
We have KUNV President Jared Hobbs in the studio with reporter Shelly Salbito. Shelly?
Thank you for being with us today.
No problem.
So could you tell me briefly about UNLV's student radio station?
Well, what we do is basically there's two FM stations on here on campus, and basically what it is that the main station, is our jazz station and our public radio station, but the student station, the HD2, what it does is allow students to learn radio from a grassroots level, get the ins and outs, learn everything that they need to know if they want to go into that field. If not, they also just maybe want to just, play around and, do something fun. And that's pretty much what we're there for. Right. A lot of the journalism students here, from what I know, they do this here and then they do the station there. And it can be a lot of fun. And it gives them an output and a learning opportunity to do what they want to do and to learn everything and be as creative as possible.
Right, okay. So there's KUNV HD1 and KUNV HD2. What's the difference between the two of them?
Basically what the difference is that for our station you need to have an HD radio. And the technology has been a little slow and getting adapted by the mainstream public, but car manufacturers are starting to put them standard now. But that's how you get our station on the FM airwaves, and then we broadcast online as well. So essentially it's just an emerging technology, but it allows us to have more than one station with under one frequency.
So I know that there's a drive happening right now for the funding for the radio station. What are you guys doing? Could you tell me a little bit more about the drive?
We do pledge drives twice a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. And basically, since we are listener supported, we have an operation budget that we have to fulfill to pay our staff, to keep the lights on and things like that. And basically, we depend on the public to donate to us. It's kind of like a PBS and NPR kind of situation, So what we do now is that we take our yearly budget, we split it in half, and then we just do these 10-day pledge drives where we ask the listeners to send in money to help us stay alive and stay on the air, because the HD1 helps fund the HD2, and so without their funding, without their support on the HD1 level, we're not able to do what we want to do. So it basically the donations are actually serving two main things.
So why should people really invest into this kind of radio station here at UNLV?
What we do is not like commercial radio. Commercial radio is very strict, very formatted. Their advertising comes from, vendors around town or nationwide, and that pays their bills. We offer programming that you're not going to find anywhere else. On our HD1, it's mostly jazz during the course of the week, and then on the weekends we have a blues show, we have a hard rock show, a couple really in-deep, electronic shows. But that's also allowed us to do the same thing on the HD2. And basically, you're not going to hear anything on both stations anywhere else in town.
What are some of the regulations for a student-run radio station? Because I know that the FCC is heavily involved in radio stations as well as the regulations. Yeah,
we follow the same guidelines as any standard station would in town. We still have the same rules, even though we're not on the mainstream FM airwaves. We are still broadcasting on the FM airwaves. It's on an HD2 level. We are up to the same rules and regulations. We have to abide by the same rules. We get hit with the same fines. Everything is there. And then, we also have the university policy as well. So we're a little more limited. We're even more limited in a lot of ways. But it makes it for an even playing field all around.
There was a show that was recently suspended for a DJ downloading a version of a song that included swear words, which violates FCC rules. So how is, what's like the policy for this, and how was it handled?
It's up to, we have a team in place of music directors, and each host is responsible for their own show. It's up to the host and to make sure that their music is clean, to make sure everything has been taken care of. If they have an edited version, then great. If they have to clean it up themselves, we have the programs to do that. Basically, if it gets out, we have a dump button. We have it, up to 8 seconds to, it pretty much prevents it from going on the airwaves. However, sometimes technology doesn't always work the way it should. So basically, we're, we didn't catch it, but at the same time, we knew it went out, so we can handle that in-house. You know, but basically the FCC pretty much doesn't really get involved unless somebody complains about something that they heard, but we take a strong stance on making sure that everything that goes out over our airwaves is clean and appropriate.
And what was the outcome of the situation?
Without getting into technical details, the host pretty much got moved to a later shift to get him back on track. He understands what happened. He understands the severity. He took ownership of it, and you know, basically, he's got to work his way back up to his primetime slot that he had.
Okay, thank you so much
No
for
problem.
being with us today.
No problem.
And we're gonna send it right back to the desk.
Lighting It Blue is the theme for Autism Awareness Month, and one sorority is taking action. UNLV sorority Alpha Zeta Delta is raising money for the philanthropy group Autism Speaks.
Light Up Blue, just make different baked goods that are blue in order to increase awareness and also to raise money.
Autism, which affects children, has been recently shown to be more serious than previously thought.
We thought that autism affected 1 in 88 children. The CDC recently came out with statistics that found that it actually affects 1 in 68 children, with it affecting over 4 times more boys. 1 in 42 boys and 1 in 189 girls are affected by autism.
Abigail believes that everyone should get involved.
1 in 68 is a lot. That's over a quarter of people who are affected by it. And I think that's a good enough as any reason to want to take a step forward and help a great cause.
For more information, you can visit their website, autismspeaks.com. Still ahead on Studio G, a documentary about women in sports.
Plus, the school year is almost over, and seniors are getting ready to graduate. You're watching Studio G, live at noon.
Running a student organization can enhance and redefine the UNLV college experience. UNLV has over 200 registered student organizations on campus and in the Las Vegas community, encompassing a variety of interests, activities, and beliefs among the student body. To explore, access, and join a student organization, visit the Involvement Center website under my.unlv.edu. Be a rebel. Get involved.
Only place where you're going to hear these stories. The stories that count that Combox Radio refuses to cover. My show is The King Louie Show. So, you know, no one really wants to hear about the last bombing that happened in Baghdad. So we do the stories that matter, like K-Rev having a seizure at mid-court, or fast-paced show with lots of fast-paced music, especially punk rock, and stories that hit hard. King Louie here, host of The King Louie Show on the Rebel HD2, and I am here every Friday noon to 2.
The Miles Low Midweek Show. I specialize in underground local hip-hop music as well as your top hits. In the first hour, we play your top hits. Second hour, other local legends that you guys may have never heard of. But I want my listeners to realize that there's more good music than what you hear on the radio. Just diversify your ears a little bit. I love it with all my heart. It's your boy Miles Low from the Miles Low Midweek Show. You can check my show out from the rebelhd2.com.
The name of my show is The Revolution, where you get your fix. What I do is I motivate individuals, and I play local artist music, and I get people connected to events on campus and in the community. Social revolution that's happening. We want to be able to be a catalyst for that and motivate people. This is Don Conquer, The Revolution, KUMV, HD2, 91.5 The Rebel.
Participation in Greek fraternity and sorority life at UNLV can provide an experience like no other, with benefits including supportive friends, leadership and career opportunities, and community service.
Greek life at UNLV is really great because it's a good way to network and meet new people from all over the place.
We got academics and we're all about that culture. So we encompass everything all around, and we're out here and we're trying to better ourselves and try to make it better, and let's just make it all better all together.
Some would say that women's sports isn't covered enough in the media.
The portrayal of female athletes in the media is a highly debated topic. Yesterday evening in the Greenspun Hall Auditorium at UNLV Sports, documentary viewing and roundtable discussion was held. The talk was titled Media Coverage and Female Athletes, Women Play Sports, Just Not in the Media. After the film was shown, Professors Rob Bellamy and Nancy Lowe, along with the filmmaker Nicole Lavoie, led a discussion of women's sports and media. Members of the audience participated and asked questions and gave their opinions. UNLV student athletes and members of the UNLV Athletics Department were in attendance.
The idea for the documentary came from the producer at TPT, at PBS Minnesota, and she knew we had a line of research on media portrayals of female athletes, and so it was a nice partnership. We had the content, she had the idea. I think that everybody in the audience takes away something a little bit different, whether they're an athlete, a stakeholder, an administrator, a coach. I think it's just important to have a dialogue around these issues.
I was real pleased at the turnout, and I think it shows that there's a lot of interest, continues to be a lot of interest in these issues of media coverage of women as athletes, and I think it also shows the changes we've seen, both good and maybe not so good. You can tell by the tone of the questions that the issues we talk about, the issue of women and sports coverage has changed from what it was even 30 years ago.
If you didn't attend this event and would like to see the documentary on media coverage and female athletes, visit mnvideovault.org.
Graduation is just around the corner for seniors who have a lot on their plate. It can be stressful. With 6 weeks left of school and finals just 1 month away, it can be hard for students to prepare for graduation. However, UNLV has found a way to bring a one-stop shop right here on campus. Senior send-off is happening inside the Student Union Ballroom, where students were happy to see how convenient it was to get their stuff.
Get it all done in one place. I don't have to keep bouncing around places or do it all online and have my credit card floating everywhere.
It was a one-stop shop basically for anything. So I mean, I could get my cap and gown here, there's one line, there's rings, there's diploma frames, pretty much anything you need all in one place. Don't have to go see 5 different people for it.
A lot of different options to go with, and as far as getting your stuff ready. Instead of you just figuring it out on yourself, you have it all laid out for you.
For some seniors, the moment felt bittersweet now that commencement is almost here.
It finally made the experience real, to finally have it in your hands and see your tassel and know that it's going to come up. And then with the t-shirts that they give you, the free t-shirts, having alumni written on it kind of just made the experience seem real, that this is actually happening.
Congratulations, Rebels, on your upcoming milestone. If you haven't bought your cap and gown yet, senior send-off ends tonight at 6 p.m. and the event is free. Visit the Student Union Ballroom with your Rebel card and someone will help you out. Monica, I know that you are graduating soon. How do you feel?
I am so excited. I'm about to buy my cap and gown.
So you're going straight to that senior send-off thing?
Yes, exactly. And I think they're giving out t-shirts too for seniors.
Oh, perfect.
So really
maybe I can sneak my way in there and get a free shirt. I mean, my graduation's a year away, but maybe I can try to pull it off.
No, you can't sit with us.
I can't sit. Am I not cool enough?
I'm just kidding. No, you don't graduate this year, so that's not fair.
All right, well, I mean, I could at least try. I mean, I'm excited to graduate. Thank you so much for tuning in to Studio G Live at Noon.
And I'm Monica Cran.
And I'm Ron Paul Gavino. Have a wonderful day, Las Vegas.